you want guys to make six figures. Say you make six figures, your woman makes six figures, and you want a guy to make six figures. Now you're gonna have to compete for those guys who make six figures. But the odds are against you. You're gonna have to.
I mean, I'm fabulous.
But the odds are against you. You think about it.
Let's be honest. All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm glad you asked. My name is Bianca Ariel, business coach and the creator of the Release and Reset series and the co-founder of Black and Influential. I'm super excited for today's episode because we have some special guests. I'll go ahead and let Dominique introduce herself again.
Awesome. Hey, y'all. I am Dominique Rice, serial entrepreneur, and I'm so glad y'all are tuning in. Today is also an extra special day because we have two very special guests. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They are two strong and amazing Black men, and I'm so glad that they took time out of their busy day to be on our show. So we'll go ahead and start with Randall. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and you can look right here.
Okay. My name is Randall Hanna. I'm all the way from Columbia, South Carolina, and that's about all I have until we get started. You know.
Okay.
Trevor Anderson, originally from Detroit, Michigan. Been here about 8 years. Loving it. Never leaving.
Okay. Now, I know one thing that I didn't put two and two together when I asked you both to be here. I know Trevor played sports in college. You did as well, right? You played baseball?
Yeah, I played baseball.
Okay, so I think I mean, everybody knows that I love sports and my family's in college basketball. So I think part of maybe your success and me looking up to you guys as Black men comes from maybe being athletes. Do you think being an athlete plays a role in why you're viewed as successful or why you're so goal oriented?
Yeah, I would say because it's always a competitive nature. Mm-hmm. Like men are always like being a man is supposed to be competitive. Whether you're trying to attract women, whether you're trying to make money, or it's always competitive. And the competitive means you have to be jealous of another person or anything like that. It just means that you're always motivated and you should always have that drive to always want to do better. So right. That's what being an athlete kind of help with everyday life as being a man.
Okay.
I agree with him. Being an athlete has made me more focused in life. I can always tell when somebody who wasn't an athlete tries to do some of the things that I do. like literally, 40 hours of work is a joke to me.
Exactly.
It really is. I work almost about 60 to 75 hours a week just for myself with different things I have going on. So like 40 hours is when people say I'm tired, I laugh at them because you know why? From the time I was 18 years old until I was about 24 when I got done playing professionally, I was used to getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
No matter what I did the night before, if I went to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning drunk, I was still getting up because it was an obligation I had to do. And I wanted to stay on scholarship. Mm-hmm. So it made me more focused and way more driven than the average man. And I could always tell when someone said what type of athlete they were when they say they were an athlete.
Okay.
By the way they conduct themselves when it comes to simple stuff like this, getting up in the morning to be on time.
Right.
That's 80% of the battle.
Exactly. Right. And so, like, for me, I know many people know that I grew up a lot living with my uncle who played basketball at the best basketball school in the world. And Carolina. No. Carolina. This is the Tar Heel State. And so, and my uncle is such a wonderful example of not just a man, but as a provider, as a person, as a human. Like, he always does what's right. And so it's so funny that I look at y'all as strong men, and I put that correlation together, seeing you guys sitting next to each other. Last episode, we talked a lot about how we shouldn't tear down the Black man, and the Black man, you know, we should just like encourage them and accept them for where they are. And it doesn't matter if they don't make six figures, but in my mind, anybody can do anything they want to do if you put your mind to it. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. That's why even though with the numbers, when people talk about six figures, we already know like the numbers. So
let's talk about the numbers. I don't think we know.
Well, I guess basically that's based in the top 10% of people.
Yeah.
And then like with guys mostly don't make really six figures until they're around like 35 to 55. Okay. Now some people make six figures before then, but we'll say those are anomalies. But mostly on the average guy. But the thing is, a lot of times that we didn't tell guys to prepare to make six figures early. So it's supposed to start when you're around like 18 and you're going to college. See, a lot of us, we go to college, we play around, we chasing women, we doing all kind of stuff. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with having a social life, going to get women and doing stuff like that. But the thing is, you got to understand that one day you're going to have to be a man and you're going to have a family and you're going to want women to respect you as a certain type of man. So you need to prepare early. So a lot of guys don't make six figures till later on is because we or parents didn't prepare guys to understand what they need to do early to be a guy who makes six figures before they're 35. What
if there's a man who really genuinely loves what he does and he just does not make six figures?
Well, I mean, it just depends on the preference of the woman. If a woman wants a guy who makes six figures, then she's gonna have to do certain things to attract those type of men.
Okay, let's talk about that.
What she got to do?
So what she got to do?
Well, I mean, but I'm
she got to be on a handstand. What she got to do?
But still, though, if a woman wants those kind of men, they got to understand like too. It's a small selection.
Okay.
So women got to understand this too. There's always right now, regardless of guys make six figures or not, there's still more women to men.
Okay.
So regardless, so now if there's more women to men, then now if you want a guy who makes six figures, now it shortens the percentage of the men you got to choose for him. So now it's gonna make sure you're gonna have to really compete extra hard. That means you're gonna have to position yourself. You're gonna have to find out where those guys at, what they like or whatever. Because most women don't kind of want to know what guys like. They just think they have a mentality of this. They'll say, hey, this is what guys should accept from them, instead of saying, what do guys like that want or whatever.
Okay, so Trevor, what do you prefer? What does a woman have to do in order to attract you?
Be focused.
Be focused?
Be ambitious. Be financially orientated.
Okay.
Be respectful of my time.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing with me. Like, my time is split between, right now, working, building, and two little boys that don't live in my household.
Okay.
That is the biggest thing with me.
Okay.
As far as, dating a man who makes six figures, in order for him to actually go further beyond that, you really have to allow him to grow, be focused. Mm-hmm. You got to know your audience.
What's more important to you, the way that a woman looks or her career? Keep it 100.
I can't front. 70 to 80%, 75 to 80% looks, and then like what she brings to the table.
Right.
Because I've had looks before.
Okay.
I've had looks from the time I was recognizing women all the way to now. So look can fade. And you can go get surgery and change whatever you want.
Okay.
You can go on a diet and lose weight, but what you bring to the table and who you are, it's really what you really should be focusing on. But as a man, come on, let's be honest. Visual. We're visual.
Right. Okay.
Just like women.
So y'all are keeping it real.
Yeah.
So y'all want a baddie.
Women here. No. Right. I mean, at the end of the day, I look at it like this for me. Okay. I plan on positioning myself to be in certain type of settings, society, as far as meetings. So I can't have nobody ugly on my arm when we walk in this meeting. Because at the end of the day, they going to look at me, this big black 6'2", 280-pound, mean-looking man, and I got this gorilla next to me. It ain't going to work. I'm glad you because said at the end of the day, if you understand, you understand being in some of those business settings and those meetings and those parties, they talk to your wife, especially white men will look at your wife and want to get to know her before they even know what you do.
Right.
They want to know where her head at. Is she an airhead?
Right.
Oh, okay, go over there with my airhead wife.
Right.
They'll treat you like that.
Right.
And women are a reflection of...
They're a reflection of you. Right. They're a reflection of you.
And that's what I explained to Bianca when talking. So I don't know if you guys know, but Bianca is a lesbian. So she doesn't date men. So this is very, very... Well, she dated men in the past. Okay. But she's a lesbian.
What happened with that?
Well, this isn't about Bianca. It's not a lesbian.
I'm messing with you.
She's a lesbian. That's really about that. But one thing I was saying to her is that I don't judge a man by his looks. I mean, I have to be sexually attracted to you. I don't want to wake up looking to a troll, but I'm the beauty in this relationship, and I want to be on a man's arm, and I want to be like exactly what Trevor said. It's important to me to represent my man very, very well. When we go into settings, I want to be like, man, he got a real bad woman. Like, he must make some money. He must have a big old.
But you said a good thing, because you say you're not attracted. Because women, attraction and looks are different when it comes to women. Because a woman might say, a guy might say he physically looks good, but she's not attracted to him.
Right.
So
there is a difference between someone that,
right.
because I know beautiful women,
right.
but like I'm not attracted to you.
Right. Because somebody might say, oh, he looks good, but I'm not attracted to him.
Yeah, I mean, you could just be beautiful, like, but I'm not attracted. It's fine.
You ever notice you'll see a gorgeous woman and an ugly man because women fall in love with what they hear.
Exactly.
Men fall in love with what they see.
Exactly.
Well, I'm changing that. I'm falling in love with action.
Exactly.
But go ahead.
I want to fall in love with what I hear, and then what I hear.
I want
is
it to match
your actions.
Where you're going with that?
Your words match with your actions. Your actions match with your words, and that's what I fall in love with. Like, looks are secondary to me. Obviously, I have to be physically attracted to you. I want to wake up next to you. I want to be with you every single day. But that's definitely not the most important thing to me. I don't have I hope you're 6'10". I hope he's this and that. I that could care less. That's not important to me. I'd rather someone that is a provider, that's spiritual, that's, so I mentioned to Randall one day, I was like, I do have a list, because we were talking on Instagram about relationships. I said, I do have a list, but it's nothing physical. It's like a provider, someone that I'm attracted to, someone that's spiritual, someone that's a leader, someone who's loving, someone who's understanding. Those aren't things that you could just but a lot of women have these lists of like, oh, you have to have 6 figures, you have to be 6 feet, you have to be this, you have to be that. And 9 times out of 10,
narrowing the gap.
They're narrowing the gap, but also, like, a lot of people say, like, you deserve to have what you want, but also as women, you have to ask, what are you bringing to the table? So what I bring to the table is I always want to be my best self. I always work hard to be the better me. You know what I mean? So, like, I actually feel like I bring everything that I'm asking for.
So there's a lot of expectations that women have when they first meet a man and go out with a man. And at what point do you start providing for a woman? Because I know that there's a lot of women that are just expecting men to start paying off day one.
Now, I can take this a lot of different angles. Because
okay,
well,
go ahead.
My thing is like, providing. Okay.
Okay, so when are you paying for the nails? When are you paying for the hair, the bag?
Do you pay for a first date? What does that look like?
Yeah, I don't do 50 dates.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. But yeah, when we're in a relationship, yeah, I'll say, yeah, you should pay for nails, do certain stuff, and do all that. Yeah.
Okay.
But bills, it just depends on if like, because some people say they don't want to shag and do all that, but I'm not gonna pay for your bills if we're in separate locations. Now, if we live together, I think a man should pay all the bills. That's just what I believe. A man should just pay all the bills. Now, in certain cases, like, because of, I said, the percentages of what people make $100,000 or whatever. Mm-hmm. So 50-50 could work, but the reason why I wouldn't advise 50-50, because in some cases it makes a woman not want to submit to you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You want cooperation and being submissive. That's why I said, as a guy, you need to do whatever it takes to make sure your woman is in a submissive state.
Right. So. Now, I know I need to mind my business because, I'm on the other side. But I think a great compromise would be like a man should take care of the majority of the household. I think he should pay for the mortgage,
right.
The major bills. But I feel like the small little things, I feel like the groceries, the woman can help out with.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
like I feel like, you know what I mean?
But if your man is holding it down, you really wouldn't mind doing it. Like, so for instance, in my perfect world, I am successful, and that doesn't matter to my man. That shouldn't even matter. Like, when my man is holding it down, when a man is really holding it down, it makes you want to do that.
Okay.
That's true.
If you're
like, you know what? He's been doing a lot. Like, let me go ahead and make sure I take care of it.
You know what? It's his birthday. Let me go ahead and take him to Dubai. He ain't never been to Dubai. Like, that's the kind of thing that you do for a man who's holding it down. When your man's holding it down, that's when you say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. He really likes Chevy Chevelles. I'm going to buy him a Chevy Chevelle for his birthday. He been holding it down. That's what you do for your man. Those are things that's you give experiences. I'll give experiences. I make sure our 401ks are matched out. I make sure if we own All Stardust LLCs and make sure our SEPs, IRAs are matched out. I'll make sure that we're creating generational wealth. So what you have to understand is that you want to make sure that if you are providing, that you're providing for a woman who wants to contribute to the wealth of your family. Because what happens is a lot of men are providing for women who are lazy and who don't do anything, and they're giving other women a bad name.
Okay.
So when you got to get with a real one who holds it down and who will really make sure that you're appreciated, And another thing is, when a man is holding it down, you have to make sure that you're being his peace. Because when a man comes home every day and you're his peace, he don't mind paying all the bills. He'll go work 17 jobs to pay all the bills when he comes home and he knows he's appreciated.
That's true.
But you have to be a black man's peace. You know, and if you're a black man's piece, when he comes home, he's going to value that. And that's bigger than anything else, because on the other show, Kay was mentioning how, you know, we put too much pressure on the black man. No, the black man needs to provide, and a woman needs to support him. Whether and so as long as you're providing, it's an equal balance.
Right. If men know how to provide, then women are going to put themselves in a state of being submissive.
Exactly.
That's just how it works.
But we got into the balance where women are accepting broke dudes, and they're tolerating people who aren't working, who aren't doing this, who are taken from them, and then now the balance is off. So a lot of men don't feel like they have to do anything, because let me tell you something. If women stop having sex with broke men will go get some money.
That's true.
That's true.
I said that before. I said if he's not on his purpose of grind, I'm like, why are you laying up? Because I said that one time, and I was like, guys, I'm not throwing salt, because like I said, I always call it even between women and men, because women control dating. So just stop dealing with them. And then the same type of men, if you're a successful man or whatever, don't deal with low-hanging fruit.
Period.
Same thing. Right. So I call it even regardless. But like you said, if guys can do what they need to do and stop be on their grind, be on their purpose and whatever, and women like you would probably understand, like, oh, I know he worked 60 hours a week or whatever, he's grinding. Some women who are not there, they'll be, oh, he might be cheating and doing this.
Right.
Bullshit. He's busy.
Yeah.
He's busy working because he knows he has to provide and protect you if you the one he wants to marry.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, it's an equal exchange.
Right.
So I have a question. What makes a man lose attraction for a woman?
Over time?
Yes.
I guess if she just really, like, if she just falls off, it stop caring. And
like lets herself go?
Yeah, just let herself go. Or just stop caring, or getting the same thing, getting content. I think too, like even when I was telling my mom, and she's a Christian, goes to church, and I was saying, like, even when it comes to religion, I said people don't believe in divorce, but those are the people who have bad relationships. Mm-hmm. But somebody who would probably say or probably think divorce is okay, they would have accountability. Because if I get married, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm married now, I'm good, I can kick my feet back. Nah, it's gonna make me want to do better.
Yeah,
I got it now.
Like that's when it should.
Yeah, you gotta step it up. Right.
Exactly.
Any real man would do that.
Exactly.
You step your game up immediately. You find resources to do what you got to do for your family.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, if the woman decides to leave the way it's set up, not only is she going to get half of what you got plus child support, she going to move on to a better man if she's smart.
Right, and then I'm glad you said it. She moved to
smart,
and then
better man, you're gonna be sitting there looking stuck, stupid.
And then if you know you got a woman of value, and then if you know you got a woman of value, you know if I slip up or something happens, somebody's always wanting the woman that I have. So I'm gonna make sure, like, oh yeah, I need to make sure, because not saying you're insecure, but it's saying that you got a good woman.
Right.
That you got to make sure you're on your P's and Q's daily.
Exactly.
And I think that's part of taking accountability in relationships for everybody. I think that we have to really, like, the way that we prep and prepare when we're dating this individual, once we start to enter into a commitment, we have to make sure that we're sustaining what we brought to the table in the first place.
Yeah.
And so that's something we do have to be mindful. We have to constantly want to date our partners.
Exactly. That's very important to me. As someone, I want to have a lot of children. Like, I want to have a larger family. Like, I that's very important to me. But like, what's also important to me is, like, my spouse comes before my kids. And I know that will be crazy. That's crazy to a lot of people. But my job is to serve my husband, because if my children see that their parents have a healthy relationship, that serves them more than me coddling a baby all day.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
true.
That they're like, oh, wow, the nanny can take care of them. My mama can come over and watch the baby while we go on date night. As long as my husband is served and we have a loving relationship, then the children sense that, they will grow up to be well-beings. The other issue is that people put too much into their children. Not to say that doesn't mean neglect your kids.
Right.
I'm not saying like, oh, F them kids, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm saying that you have to serve your husband, and your husband has to serve you, and you have to be fulfilled in your relationship so you can give that example. Because as Black people, in order to raise healthy Black families, that's where we have to start at, with our relationship. And once we do that, we're going to raise a generation of kids that aren't coming from broken homes, that have parents that are loving, that don't come from trauma bonds, that don't come from wedlock relationships, that are growing up in a loving home. Even if you have children, that's okay. You can get remarried and they can have a stepmom, and they can be like, wow, my dad loves my stepmom. My stepmom loves me. My stepmom takes care of me just like I was her own child. Like, I love my aunt and my uncle just like they were my parents. Like, so it's the same kind of thing. And so that's very important to continue to date. That's very important to go on trips by yourselves. Leave your kids at home. Like that's very important. So there's a question that everybody's gonna answer, and this is the elephant in the room.
But before we get to that, I want to ask you. We're gonna go around. Why are you single? Because we're talking a lot of. I know, but we're gonna get to yours.
Oh,
why are you single? Because we're talking about all the things that we, successful, all the tips about being successful in dating. But like, why are we single?
and y'all are awesome. So like y'all.
So what's happening here? At this
time,
well, I'll go first. Okay, actually, because like I said, I live in Columbia, right?
Okay.
So basically, like usually when Columbia, South Carolina is kind of small.
Okay.
So everybody knows everybody or whatever. So basically, if I actually were to go eventually to another city, I probably would be in a serious relationship.
Okay.
But now it's just
the world is big though.
But I'm not trying to do long distance either.
Oh, I feel you.
So you ain't gonna move nowhere? So you're gonna be lonely in Columbia?
I say eventually,
So when you gonna move? What's your timeline? You gonna be still?
So are you just dealing with the same same inventory?
Yeah. I got to get out.
I got that. Okay. So you're saying it's just not a broad spectrum at this time.
Right, because like in different cities it's easier to date. So like I said, it's kind of a smaller city.
Okay.
So it's just like
it's not a lot of selection, so you're just recycling.
Yeah.
Got it.
So.
Okay.
Anything else? A little bit more. Okay, what about you? Is there anything about you that you can that you need to feel like?
Well, for me, I mean, there's certain things I'll say I'm not perfect. There's certain things I need to work on.
Like what?
But I don't think it is keeping me from a relationship.
So what are some things you need to work on?
Patience.
Okay.
I don't know.
You be cutting them off quick?
I guess my tolerance is kind of bad, and then like with me, like I said too.
I love the accountability.
Right. I'll put it this way: even though like sometimes, even though I'm older, even though I have a lot of experience with women, having experience with women and dating and a relationship are two different things.
Okay.
So understanding women and dating is basically it's a small window, meaning it's an expiration date. But being in a relationship is way more harder. So I'm like, now there's certain things I have to figure out that even in a relationship that certain women might not like want to tolerate, because I'm used to being a loner sometimes, even though I date and have women, but certain things I shut down easily. So sometimes I don't like to communicate.
Oh.
So,
there we go.
So,
you got that. That's deep.
Right.
We're getting somewhere now.
So if it's not a woman that I'm serious with, I don't have to communicate because she goes like, oh, okay, it's cool. But I have to understand in a relationship, even though I understand certain dynamics, but I understand that women are wired different. And I had to get to the point of understanding and being more selfless to understand that women are gonna want to communicate. They're gonna want to do this, do that, and I had to really learn how to do that. So
okay,
that's the answer we were looking for. There we go.
Yeah. Let's go get the invoice. Let's go now.
They were digging it now.
Why are you single?
They took the excavator to you, boy.
Why are you single?
I kept it 100 though.
That's what's up. We appreciate it.
We're all successful Black people. Why are we single? Let's go, Trevor.
Timing. Like, I really don't feel like I could. Me personally, like I said, how I was raised, I don't feel right with a woman paying for dinner on a date. Not to say that I can't do that right now, but all my resources are focused on other things for growth.
Okay.
So that's just me.
Okay.
So, and I could really eliminate what's going on with a woman just with a quick conversation.
Okay.
I can tell you where your head at.
Okay.
If you're not interested in the stuff that I am as far as like growth building, I can play with you, but I ain't gonna bring you on my side of the track.
Now, are you gonna be transparent about that? Are you gonna tell her that you're just gonna play with her and not bring her into your life, or what are we doing?
Now I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Have I been like that in the past? No.
Okay.
And how'd you
So
get
are
like
you
that?
selling fantasies? Are you selling fantasies?
Am I selling fantasies? No, I'm giving you exactly what we both want at the same time.
Okay.
Well, what they both want?
What do they want?
Huh?
What they want?
Digging again.
What they want?
I mean,
Are you
if
selling drinks?
Hey, listen. I ain't gonna tell you, oh, we gonna be together, we gonna do this. We can go out, we can go on a few dates, we can kick it, we can have fun. But at the end of the day, you both know what the vibe is and where we're going. And I let that be known.
How do you let it be known?
But my amount of time.
She should ask.
My amount of time. If I'm not
Someone's like, I'm looking for a relationship. I'm looking for a life partner. This is what I'm looking for. What are you looking for?
me,
Yes.
eventually in like another year, I will be looking for a relationship.
Okay.
But do you say that on a date? Do you say that
Will
on
I say that on a date?
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Okay.
Not all the time. I ain't gonna lie about that.
Okay.
So as women, we really need to pay attention to those.
Right. And that's what I tell my girlfriends. I'm like, listen, that's why you need seasons. You don't, because what I'm going to tell y'all about women, and I don't do this because I just know men, and I don't know why that I don't do this, but a lot of times women develop ideas about men as soon as they meet them. So like my friends will start talking about like, oh my God, I met my soulmate and we're going to I'm like, girl, you don't even know him. Like, and then I'm the bad friend. But then like 3 weeks later, and then they don't talk about me.
At least you being honest. At least you being honest, though.
You're people.
You the honest friend.
Yes, everybody becomes your sis. But
I be really shit. You be selling me on the ass.
But at least you being honest, because most girls would be like, oh yeah, you're right.
I know,
right.
But then my friends stop talking to me. But I be telling all my friends, and then when they come back around, they be like, "You was right." I'm like, I don't say I told you so, but I be thinking it. But a lot of women do that. They literally develop these fantasies, and so like as men, what I want to challenge y'all to do is like really set your intentions up front about what your expectations are and where you are.
But
in your
they may
life.
not get what they really trying to get if you do that.
But who cares? Because you're gonna get rid of the headache.
You honest.
Okay, you have to be honest.
The more, and this is from having a bunch of women in my family. The more honest you are up front. 9 times out of 10, you gonna get exactly what you want.
I think that's hot. Because I feel like if someone's like, I'm really not checking
because they're gonna try to challenge you. They're like, I'm gonna change this dude.
Exactly.
I'm gonna put it on him so good. He gonna want to marry me. Be like, yeah, okay.
Right.
But then it's not on you because you told her.
I told you
so your conscience is clear. Mm-hmm. It's not on you. But a lot of my friends, same thing. Well, he told you he didn't want a relationship. Why the hell you trying to change
so
this man?
So you saying be very direct.
Just tell them.
They throw it at you. Like, ooh, I'm gonna show him. Try it out.
The more direct you are as a man, the more honest you gonna get back from them. And at the end of the day, like she said, that's gonna be like, damn.
But sometimes I like to keep them intrigued, so they'll be, I'm trying to wonder a little bit about.
I let the women.
I'm gonna ask you straight up, like. First of all,
I ain't gonna ask you. I might talk to your cousin next. You
can have
your friend that I want. Sure. I might like the friend better.
Hey, I'm not bad. Hey.
You mess around with me. I mean, on Instagram, like, who is that one?
Okay, so for me, I have a lot going for myself, I will say. I think I have a lot of, I'm doing well, but I think I have emotional trauma that I need to heal. I think that's why I'm single. So I think once I clean up my emotional trauma from my past, I would be 100% a catch. Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's all black people though.
That's how I feel because there's no I don't see anything else.
Right.
Yeah, that's just what it is. I think I need healing, and it's going to be a continuous journey, like we mentioned before in the beginning of the episode. It's not a destination; it's a journey.
Right.
But I think my selection process and my alignment is off based on my emotional trauma.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think I'm single because I am.
Well, before we get you to answer, we're gonna bring in another guest.
Okay.
And we're gonna talk about because we're really trying to attract Dominique a man.
It's getting serious.
So we are gonna be the next segment. We're really gonna be focusing on Dominique. So we're gonna take a break and we're gonna bring in another guest.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
All right, guys, we're back now, and we're going to talk about why, I'm going to tell you guys why I think I'm single, and then everyone here knows me, so they're going to share why they think that I'm single. So, guys, I'm going to tell you why I think I'm single. Okay. The first thing is many of you know, everybody knows, I've been married before. So, I had a great husband. I really enjoy being married. I love being a wife. Like, I love marriage. I think it's very, very important. And I started my business, and my ex-husband was he wanted a stay-at-home wife, and my business really turned him off, and that really caused a issue in the balance in our relationship. And so for me, part of the reason why in a lot of these conversations we've been having about men and money, a man being a provider is so important, is because I've experienced someone who was turned off by my success. So, that's, again, we talk about trauma, like your past experiences shape why you are certain ways. So it's not about me being a gold digger or me like trying to take advantage of a man. It's more so the fact that I experienced someone who discarded me because I became more successful. So that's part of the reason why I think that I am. One, I don't interracial date. So like a lot of my peers can open up the portal and like they get husbands in like 6 months. And I'm like, I love black men. Like I don't interracial date, and I just feel like there's enough amazing black men that somebody's out there for me. And then I think that I'm single because I don't BS around and I don't do small talk. So like I don't really like I was on Tinder the other day. And somebody today, I was trying not to be dramatic, but I was on Tinder today and somebody was like, so, tell me about yourself. And I was like, I'm like, what do you want to know? Like, I don't know what to say. Like, ask me some questions. Like, I don't know. I was turned off. Or someone was like, what are you looking for? I'm like, well, what are you, like, I don't know. Like, nothing unless till I know you. Like, I mean, I could be looking for a husband, or we could go on a date and I could think you're trash. You know what I mean? So I have a very short attention span with men, and I have very short tolerance for small talk. So for me, I just feel like the universe is going to bring me somebody that's great, and I have very traditional values that I'm not able to budge on. So that's why I think I'm single, and we can go around and everybody can tell me why y'all think I'm single. And I want y'all to be very direct because I hope this helps me clear the air.
Okay, let's go.
Who's first?
Okay, no, let's.
Okay.
I'm gonna be last.
You want to be last? Okay. All right, let's go.
Okay. From what you said earlier, you said about your husband, and like I said, your ex-husband. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had to put that. But yeah, the one thing that you said, and there's nothing wrong with women being successful, women going out there to get money, and I respect that. But if a woman understands that once she gets to a certain level, she's basically gonna have to date up anyway.
Right.
So and then if you don't, or say he wanted you to be a stay-at-home wife, you're still gonna have to sacrifice that as well. So it goes like this. Most when it comes to men, most men don't really care about your money, your careers, and all that. They just want what they want in a woman, which is like, sex. I mean, what they see with you in attraction, cooperative and submissive. They don't care about money, your career, and all that. But the thing is, if you did have a career and all that, and you did have a business, he's still supposed to support that regardless.
Right.
Or, if you're still gonna do that, then you might have to date up.
But then when you date up, then people are criticizing you because they're like, oh, you're a gold digger. You don't want to date people with money, like blah, 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 blah. So then that's like the hard part. As a black woman, we're always criticized for wanting to date up.
Now, the thing is, I don't criticize women for dating because I think women should. But the only thing is, according to the numbers of what it is of what guys make, you're gonna run into some you're gonna run like if you want guys to make six figures. Say you make six figures, your woman makes six figures, and you want a guy to make six figures. Now you're gonna have to compete for those guys who make six figures. But the odds are against you. You're gonna have to.
I mean, I'm fabulous.
But the odds are against you. You think about it.
Let's be honest.
The odds are against you now because there's more women than men.
Right.
So now that's why oftentimes women say, "Hey, I'm the prize and I'm all this and all that." But in the basketball, in the championship, you only compete for one title. So in women, with it being more women and less men, and then now already, and then if you say, hey, I want a guy who makes a certain amount, now the numbers are getting slimmer.
Right.
So now you're going to have to put yourself in a position where you're just going to have to compete for those type of men.
Right.
And then if you don't want to compete, it's just going to be a little
What do you
harder.
define competing for me?
Meaning, like, you just doing, like, with me, you seem now that you already, like but competing also means even if you can be more submissive or stand out more than the options that he has. Okay. Because if he's a guy, he has a lot of money, or you want a guy like that, or in general, if he's an attractive guy, he knows how to seduce, he's a well-rounded Renaissance man, he's going to have options.
Right.
So the thing is, you're going to have to stand out more than the options that he has, really.
Okay. Can you give me 3 tips to stand out?
Well, like I always say, submissive. That's being able to. If you're submissive and cooperate, most guys. I'm telling you, it's not even that hard. I'm telling you, it's not even that hard. If you're not submissive and be cooperative, and I understand some women don't want to say, "Oh, submissive is a bad word," or "I don't want to submit to a loser." I get it.
Right.
I get it, but I mean, when it comes to those type of guys, you already know what they have, so you can. So it's just about if you're going to be more cooperative or more submissive than them, and you're going to be able to give them something that they can't get from those other women. which is that. Because most successful women aren't submissive or cooperative.
Right. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Trevor.
Your time and your ambition scares a lot of weaker men off. I know how you operate with business. So to hear you say that about your ex-husband, saying that he was great at certain things, but he just couldn't get with what you were doing, it's because he didn't see himself in the picture. And he felt like you were a threat to him as a man internally. You know, in your last segment, you guys spoke about a man wanting to be needed and wanted around. You have to make that man feel as though he's needed, even though you know you could take the trash out yourself. The fact I just took the trash out. I just got my family at Disney's World. We beating our chests about stuff like that. When you continue to do stuff like that as a woman, you attract those things from the right man. And then sometimes you may run into a guy who may not be at your level, but he's working to get towards your level. You just got to pay attention to what's going on with him.
Right.
You know.
Right. And that's why it's very important to me to like get rid of that, especially as Black women who want to be with ambitious men. It's like to get rid of that. I'm an independent woman. Like I don't ever say that. Like I can pay my own bills. I do all my own stuff, but like I'm not an independent woman. I do need a man. Like I do pay all my own bills. But like I need a man.
If somebody breaking that house.
I want a man. You know what I mean? Like you don't. Yeah, I mean you don't necessarily need anybody, but you do need a partner.
Right.
Everybody needs a spouse. Everybody deserves to have a spouse. So like when to go around saying I don't need a man is very, very toxic because that puts in our head I don't need anybody. I don't need this. You know. So I really receive what you're saying and I appreciate it.
The two things that when dealing with any woman that they truly desire, one is communication.
Okay.
Along top of that is security. Security is providing not just physically in case somebody come in his house. You don't want to be jumping in front of your man and be like, I got it.
Hell no.
Don't no man want that because you like, sit down somewhere. I got this. You good. You know those type of little things that to be honest with you, y'all spoke on this last segment. We really weren't raised to do. You see a lot of Black women. They quick to jump in front of their sons to do stuff. And you sitting there, you looking like with my 4-year-old. You see my son. He on his own. He take the trash out. He do all the little stuff. So guess what? If something was to happen, I got it. It's going to be hard for him to date a woman who is super aggressive, i.e. his mother. He's going to have to be with someone who is submissive to a certain extent because he's a man in a 4-year-old's body. He sees it right now. So
some of them are dating their mother, but they're
sometimes and the same thing. Some women are dating their father. They don't even realize it.
I got a little history.
And you don't. It's just it's certain dynamics when it comes to like dating that as Black people we don't sit down and discuss. If you see you've seen it, you've seen someone providing for the family off $100,000. Which is nothing
because I can't feed a kid. I can't get a dog on $100,000. So I'm like, oh my God, how can I feed this pet?
Yeah, so you were able to see something like that. So that's your standard. I wouldn't say lower it. That's what you've seen. That's what you should expect.
Right.
And any man that comes into your life, if you are able to show him this is what I'm used to, if he can't deal with it, you got to make decisions whether you want to move on or not.
Okay. Bianca.
Okay, I don't want to get emotional.
Oh, it's okay.
So I'm listening to everything that that we're discussing today, and I think that I definitely would never recommend you to lower your standards. I think that who you are at the source is going to attract someone that really can provide the lifestyle that you're accustomed to, especially the lifestyle that you can provide for yourself. I just know, through all of this conversation, that you just have a really good and natural heart. And my fear is that you are going to attract somebody, just based on the words that you speak, you're going to attract somebody that can support you financially, but can't feed your soul. And I think that the reason that you get caught up in situations is because you're connected with somebody at their soul, but they're not providing what you want at the source. So my hope for you is that you can find the balance of the two. Okay? And I think that the reason that you weren't able to connect with your last situation is because he's just really not the man that you want at the end of the day. And no matter how much you loved him and were connected to him. And I think at the end of the day, I think the reason why you're not attracting it is because you're just, I think you're very intimidating to a weak man. And I don't think you should tone yourself down because that's who you are. I think that, yes, you can practice submissive and you can do all of that. But at the end of the day, I think the person that really is intended for you is going to show up. And I don't know. I just feel, I know you're going to like come in with like a lot of different, which I love all different type of perspectives, but I think we have a lot of tools and a lot of resources, and we can do all these different things to try to make sure that we attract a person for us. But I think at the end of the day, if we know who we are at the source and what we really want, I think we're going to attract the person that is really supposed to be with us. Right. And you just really, I mean, you just need a man of a certain stature, and I don't think you should feel any type of way about it. Like, that's just what it is.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Bianca.
You're welcome.
So, Dominique, being that I've known you for 10 plus years, I know you, I mean, you're pretty much very similar in our personalities.
Very much so.
We're going to have to date out. We're going to have to date out. We're going to have to date some Bradleys, some Chads.
Bradley! Oh, God!
I'm just being honest. Some Robertos,
Now listen.
some Hectors. We need not to be focused on just the brothers. Because as you know, black men, they date whoever they feel. They don't say, well, I only date sisters. I just love sisters. And my grandma and them, they can give 2 F's about that. They date whoever makes them happy and whoever's submissive.
But it's a low selection of black men who actually date outside of the race, though. You know.
You think that? So, no.
That's what the stats say now. That's what the stats say now.
But I just think that I really think
Okay.
because of the position you're in and what you do in life and the kind of money you make, you're going to have to date out.
And here's my hard part with date now. First of all, I say the N-word all the time.
Doesn't matter.
Second of all, I definitely don't want Chad or Bradley to say the N-word with me. Like, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm super, super black on the inside, you guys.
But how's dating out gonna help if you?
It gives them more to look at. I mean, you can't just say, "Well, I want a good husband," but you're only gonna look at black men. You have to look at the whole spectrum, men or men.
But she doesn't like
Well, listen, you got to figure out are all those
Yeah.
men. But you got to understand, those men are looking for women inside of their race too. So
Some of them are open. Some of them are open too.
But they're gonna. I'm saying they're still gonna have a preference first. Everybody is naturally by nature gonna look inside of what they look like. So he's gonna go there first, and then if it there, then he might come. He's not just gonna go. And then
I'm talking about men who love black women. I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about what you talking about. You talking about this in general. I'm talking about guys who are open to dating other races, even though they may be white or Greek or Italian. She needs to be open to guys who may be open to dating beautiful black women.
Where do I find them?
Everywhere.
They're open.
Because in your heart you're closing them off.
No, they're open. But you understand, they're open, but they still want what they look like first. Because think about this too. Think about how the dynamic. I'm glad the dynamic of how we date as black people and other races date different. Because, like, for instance, they in other races, they don't let their prize or their top guys get out. When those guys are top guys, they're gonna try to lock those guys in. They jump on those immediately. The ones that usually go out are the ones that they usually sometimes don't want. I'm not saying in all cases, because like I always use the example with Bradley Cooper, or he was dated outside and then he went back to he married a white lady. And just like what's his name? Robin Thicke, high value guy who would be white, but he went back to and married a white woman.
Well, Paula wouldn't take him back.
No,
because Paula wasn't tolerating what somebody else was going to tolerate.
But I'm just saying. But like in most cases, they try to keep their
I hear
top.
what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. It sounds good. But I'm saying in the bigger scope of things, if Dominique will open up her eyes to other races, she will have a husband in 6 months, no doubt. Because men of other races don't have these issues that a lot of other. I know. Because we have this programming. It's a black folks thing. Well, you need to be dating, the brothers in the neighborhood because we need to uplift the community. Blah 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 blah. Do what make you happy. You're 30 years old. You want to have kids, right? Do what needs to be done. Let's date. Let's date all of them.
Are you open to other races?
She needs to be.
I would try it.
But if you open to other races and you go get a guy who's here, and then you can go get a black guy who's just the same, then what's the reason?
Yeah, you're not going to be sneaking back with.
Right.
I'm not sneaking with Tyrone.
Right. No, I'm just saying though. If you're gonna get an average person, like I said, they're top guys. Who they get them? So you're gonna get most of the leftovers. Like most of the. Listen, I'm telling you, white. Like if you ask most white women or whatever, the guys that they see as high value white guys or any other race, they do not let those guys. They lock those guys in. So I'm saying if you're gonna get a guy who's here outside their race and you got a black guy, you might as well get a black guy.
Okay, let me ask y'all this. This is what I was thinking about doing. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth.
Okay.
I ain't want to say this on camera, but I'm gonna tell y'all on camera. Don't tell me. I was thinking about going to Nigeria and get me one of them nice Nigerian kings.
You gonna get you one of them scammers?
Not a scammer.
Get you one of them
I'm
scammers.
not a Nigerian king. Okay, I was gonna go to the Nigerian matchmaker and go get me a nice Nigerian man that would love, that I can serve, that has the same values as me, that we can have lots and lots of kids.
I mean,
what do y'all think about that?
That ain't a bad idea.
Maybe not. Okay, maybe not Black American. Maybe opening up like Black European, Black African,
yeah. The values are different
Asian. I don't know.
They weren't cultivated in this country, so I get why you saying that. But me personally, as a man, and I'll say this because I say this to the women in my family. The women in my family, strong Black women, good money, good credit, got their own. If you decide to date outside your race as a Black woman, I really can't be mad at you. You know why? Because there's not a lot of brothers like myself and him that are doing something.
Exactly.
Now, as a black,
that's why we had y'all here today.
Now,
so you got
as a black, but think about it. But here's the thing. With me, as a Black man, if I decide to do that, it's a plethora of Black women who got stuff going on with them.
Thank you.
And I said that to my mother, and she looked like, "Wait a minute." I was like, "I can find a plethora of Black women who got stuff going on with them. It's more acceptable for y'all." From my point of view.
Right, thank you, Sean.
I ain't gonna get mad.
But I'm
gonna look at it crazy because I'm super pro Black. I'm gonna look at it like,
me too, but I need to be
you want to look over here, but
and
it's cool.
I know Dominique wants somebody that knows how to play spades and stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, I play spades, drink Hennessy, like I'm like you
right.
blue Black on the inside. I'm not teaching no grown person.
So even if you go off numbers, like I said, even as I said about we already know the top 10% is the 10%. Okay. That's both men and women. But you know, in the middle class, there's 51% of Black men are actually childless, and 64 of those are in the middle class. So it's Black men out here. That's what I'm saying. So if you go outside your race or anything or ethnic group or regardless, I'm still saying you're going to get here, and you still have this here in the community anyway. That's what I'm saying. They're still out here.
If the men are here, why they not at Dominique? There's a lot of us that look, the beautiful, make six figures. These Black men do not want to be married. There's a lot of y'all that don't want to be married.
That's not true.
It depends on who you're dealing with.
That's not true.
They introduced me to 3 friends.
I'll find you 3 friends.
Okay.
I'll hook you out. We'll find you. I'll get you. I'm gonna hook you up.